Hey everybody, I'm Karyn Bryant for MMA H.E.A.T, talking with Amanda Bobby Cooper, who is facing Ashley Yoder at UFC. It's what are they even calling this one? The big 25th anniversary show. I just feel like it's UFC Denver, but it's the big 25th anniversary show, yeah?
Yeah, I'm really excited to be on this card. At first, when I got the offer, I didn't realize that it was the 25th anniversary, and then I found out later. I was like, oh, that's awesome. How cool.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, so now folks should remember that you and Ashley were both on The Ultimate Fighter. So, what's your take on Ashley? Like, how familiar with her are you?
Yeah, I mean, she was on the opposite team as me, so I didn't get to train with her. But, I liked her. We were friends. We exchanged clothing between the two teams. I thought her story was awesome. She had some, her brother passing was unfortunate. She got into training, and, she's done well for as little as time as she spent in MMA. But I got to see how she was in the house and how she presented herself just as a person that maybe did, not even just a fighter, but as just a human. She lost her fight early in the house and then just, drank a lot and partied it up. They all called her Hurricane Ashley. So, like little things like that stick in my head. And I remember hearing about her training and, stuff like that. And that was 2 years ago. So, and then our fight got announced and I would go on her social media and look at it and she's drinking and partying. And, I just try to stay very perfect in my fight camps and do everything that I can, like to know that I'm doing the best I can. So when, my hand's raised, I know I did everything. Or if I lost, I know I did everything still. Right. So I'm excited to, face her finally.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting, too, because obviously you guys share a common opponent in Mackenzie Dern. When you look at her fight with her, I mean, we're going to get into that because, of course, we have to get into that. But did you see anything in her game from that fight that you feel that you can exploit against Ashley?
Yeah, normally Ashley's always going for the takedown, and, I can watch a ton of fights where she's shooting on girls because she wants to get to the ground. Mm-hmm. But with this fight, I got to see more of her stand-up and what she's doing when people are shooting on her and how her defense is. So that fight was good because it was recent, obviously, but also because she was doing the opposite game plan. Mm-hmm. And I got to see, how she deals against people that, come wild. There are girls that are straight in the middle. I've watched fights where she's fighting the southpaw. But, with Mackenzie, when I first watched that fight, I thought that Ashley won. I went back and watched it a couple other times, and now I think Mackenzie won. So it was a close fight, but she showed, she's tough. She showed she can defend things. It did show a lot, but I'm glad I got to see it from the other side, how she deals with it.
Yeah, well, I think one thing about Ashley is she's always a gamer, right? She'll always keep going. She'll always keep going. So I imagine when you're planning for her, when you guys are game planning, you can't plan for a short fight, right? I mean, you never know what happens. Obviously, you're going to train for all of your rounds, but especially I feel with Ashley, she can hang in a fight a lot longer than people expect.
She can. I've seen her when she tried out for The Ultimate Fighter. Yeah. She was the most exhausted out of anyone on those elimination fights. And I kept thinking, oh my God, how is she this tired? How is she going to go to the next round? And she did. She was exhausted. She pulled it together. I even thought, in the house that she had really bad cardio, but she never gave up. She always kept fighting. We're in Denver now, so the high altitude, it's going to play effect on both of us, I'm sure of it. But definitely she's tough. I've trained this whole fight camp knowing that it's going the distance. And if it doesn't, then I'm happy with that.
And it definitely seems like you will have the striking edge. I think she prefers, ground fighting. It seems to be a little bit more. Do you see it that way? And I mean, folks know that you come from more of a boxing background in the beginning anyway. So do you feel that way for you? The most advantageous approach is to keep it on the feet?
Right. Yeah, I definitely feel like I have the biggest advantage in the stand-up in the boxing range. That's my plan is, not keep it at kicking range where she can just throw dumb punches, but stay in the boxing range, put pressure on her. I fought a lot of southpaws in my boxing days. I fought a lot of longer fighters, so I feel like I have an advantage knowing that I've had to fight girls with the same reach, the same southpaw stance. Mm-hmm. But I've seen, a lot of her fights where she only does really well with submissions in guard or back, and it just seems very like one-sided jiu-jitsu, and that gave me confidence knowing if I put her on her back, I don't think that she is as strong as I am. I don't think she, I have better ground and pound, so I feel very good. Definitely with the striking, but I like this fight a lot better than I liked Mackenzie because I felt Mackenzie was dangerous everywhere on the ground. But Ashley, I just feel like is very, easy on the ground, knowing that these are her few subs she liked, these are her few positions, and so I feel good everywhere in that fight.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to give you a hard time, but you made it to the finals of the Ultimate Fighter. Tatiana was able to out wrestle you. She was going to go to the Olympics. You know what I mean? It's hard to catch up with somebody. It's really, really hard to catch up with somebody. When you look at the division, when you see that these women are getting so much more well-rounded, what are you doing? Like, who do you train with for your ground game, for your wrestling, for your jiu-jitsu, to make sure that you're complementing that part of your game as well?
Yeah, I've really had to focus. The first year and a half of my pro career, I had an ACL tear, and I couldn't, anything I did, and I didn't realize it was an ACL. I had MCL, LCL, my whole knee was tore up. So I really slacked on my wrestling and jiu-jitsu, because every time I would do it, it would pop out, and I would have to, sit out for a week. And then so I was like, oh, striking is the only thing I can do where it doesn't pop out.
Right.
But once I had that surgery and it got healed, took a year for it to get healed. I've just been focusing on wrestling and jiu-jitsu. My training partner, Christy Gar, was number 5 in the world for wrestling. She's on the USA wrestling team. We wrestled, all the time. She's definitely down to come in and just put gloves on and try taking me down. Me taking her down. We wrestle live all the time. So that's really, given me a lot of confidence in my wrestling too, because I know how talented she is. She started when she was 5. She's done a lot of good things with it. Alicia Zapatella is another wrestler for my gym. She has done very well on the USA team as well. So I have really good wrestling girls that I train with. And obviously the guys are bigger, stronger, tougher. So it's nice to go with the women and do well against the girls that have wrestled longer than me or whatnot. And I train at mostly a jiu-jitsu academy. Our coaches are mainly jiu-jitsu people. So I do feel really confident in the skills that I have. I know that in the past, I've fought really good wrestlers or really good grapplers, and I'm like, oh, I can't go to the ground, can't go to the ground. And I think that mindset, of having a fear of losing in one way has, done really bad for my mindset going into a fight. But, with this fight, I don't feel like Ashley is better than me on the ground. I think that she's just figured out that that's her style and made it a point to rep her style on people. So it makes her good on the ground, because she's like, nonstop, I'm going to win this way. Right. Where me, I feel very confident in a lot of ways. So I just play the game. But this time I definitely am going to, go after Ashley and put it on her and make her fight my game.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, it's funny because I feel like it's an important fight for you. The last time we saw you in action, it was that Mackenzie fight. And there was so much around that fight that I have to imagine probably made you a little bit mental, trying to keep your head on straight when, it was 7 pounds, right? It was 6 point something. But
yeah, that 7.5. 8.5 over 115. So definitely, in a different weight class. I think I knew she was going to miss weight. Yeah. So I had it in my head the whole time. I didn't know she was going to miss weight by that much, but I had it in my head the whole time that I was going to fight her. I'm like, I've trained for this. I'm excited. I want this fight. I was really confident, and I knew I was going to take the fight no matter what. So when I was in the bathtub, I had about 1.5 pounds left. I got word that, and the weigh-ins hadn't even started, but I got word that she wasn't making weight. And I'm like, well, weigh-ins haven't even started. We still have an hour till weigh-ins, but they said that she's not cutting anymore and she's not making it. And I just go, okay, I'm taking the fight. I don't care what. I'll get back in the bath. I'll get out. I'll gain weight. I'll lose weight. Whatever I have to do. Because I already had it in my head that I was going to take the fight. I wish I didn't have it in my head that I was going to take the fight. I wish I would have, because there's no way my coaches would have told me. They know me. I'm too stubborn. They're like, they couldn't have come in and tell me I wasn't taking the fight. Right. So they let me decide. And because I already knew I was going to take it, I didn't stop to think. I didn't ask how much weight she was over. I didn't ask anything. I just was like, let's do it. What do I have to do? And I got back in the bath, and definitely a struggle, because I got back to the weigh-ins and she's eating and drinking, and I'm like, dying, because I had to get out of the bath, get back in and get back on it. And I was mad. I remember definitely being really mad that I thought it was disrespectful that she didn't even try to cut the weight, even when we had 2 hours left in weigh-ins. Even I'm suffering, and she's just like, well, I'm going to stay here where I'm at. And I was mad. I was emotional, but that's not why I lost.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's what people are going. That was the instant reaction was Amanda let this get to her, and she went in there with too big of a chip on her shoulder, too much to prove, too much to set Mackenzie in her place, and all of that. And while you had every right to be fired up like that, I feel like a lot of people thought maybe that took you out of the fight. Took you out of it mentally to where you didn't perform as well as you possibly could have. But I don't know if that's true or not.
Right. And that, that could be. I just know that, I've been fighting since I was 11, so and my dad always said, like, excuses don't produce results. So,
right.
I don't want to ever make an excuse. I want to, I don't want to write that fight off like, well, she was heavy, and I'm not making excuses because, me being fired up could have done well for me. I could have been like, I'm proven. I could have fought harder. I could have fought longer. I got caught. That's how I lost. She's bigger, and, that weight does have a big factor, especially at that small weight. But if I make excuses, then I don't go back to the gym and work on the things that I need to work at. I just write it off, and I'm not big on, I don't think that writing off a fight, and, I could have easily been like, well, I'm going to come out there and kill her because she disrespected me and beat her, and then been like, wow, that was the best way to do it. I don't want to go in there and she's bigger, she's this. I went in there like I normally do.
Right.
Definitely on weigh-in day I was emotional, but I think on fight day I was right. I was confident. I had the best warm-up. I had the best walkout. Like, I felt very good. So it's hard to, be so frustrated with it. I am mad that I lost, but
I was going to say, that said, though, you're not alone in, at the time anyway, people were frustrated about the treatment that Mackenzie was getting. She is such a big star with jiu-jitsu, but with her coming to the UFC, people were, she shouldn't get special treatment. Like, for you, what do you prefer for weigh-ins? Do you prefer morning? Do you prefer afternoon? Like, what would be the best remedy in that situation for you? In hindsight, like you just said, maybe you shouldn't have taken the fight, but taking it was the extra money. Did that mean anything to you? Like, you know what I mean? When your opponent misses weight, what do you really want?
You never know until it happens to you, because normally I've been like, well, yeah, the extra money's nice. But when it happened, I didn't ask about the money. I told my coaches they could have it. I was delirious, obviously. I was like, I just want to fight. Like, I don't care. You can have it. Like, I was mad, and I wanted the fight. So during the time, I didn't care about any of that. Obviously, when I lost, it made it easier. I'm like, well, I did get the money, and people were on my side, and they really respected me. I got a lot of followers. I got a lot of fans. I had a lot of people message me really good things. And that in itself was worth it. I've always prided myself on just being a fighter. I've loved fighting since I was 10. So I think if I would have not taken the fight, I would have been upset with myself and couldn't really tell myself that fighting was everything I loved, because in the end of the day, I still am happy. I still got to travel to Brazil with my team. I had friends come out. I still got to have the next day. And, and I always say, worst case scenario, I got a family and friends that love me, and I still do everything I love.
I was going to say, it's pretty great, and they have, I don't want to say rewarded you, but this is a fantastic fight card that you're on, being on the 25th anniversary fight. You are the featured prelim for us on FS1. So for you, what does that mean? As a fighter, obviously, the UFC is the top of the game, and now they're trusting you to be a featured prelim on an important card. What does that assignment really mean to you?
It's awesome. I feel, with my last fight, my last loss, it's, my back's against the wall. I train like that. I trained it, really hard. I've studied, I've thought, I've visualized, I've done everything, thinking that this is my opportunity. This is my time. This is the fight I have to win. And now, featured on the important card is even better, because I do feel like I'm going to show the best me, and what a better way. And I think, it'll be a thank you to the UFC. Thank you to McMahon for giving me this fight. I had a long notice for it. I was really prepared for it. I felt really good about the opponent. So I feel like it's a really good time. I'm not going to Mackenzie Dern's hometown and fighting her. I'm going to Denver, where my opponent's not from, and we actually get to just put on a good show, and I'm very thankful for it.
Cool. Awesome. Well, we are looking forward to it. Once again, folks, of course, ABC is fighting on Saturday in the featured prelim against Ashley Yoder, another Tough alum. Listen, win or lose, I'm just happy that you girls from Tough are doing well and like staying in the game, and every time you guys just keep getting better. So proud of you and happy for you for the opportunities that you're giving, and just, go out there, have a good fight, have fun.
Thank you. I really appreciate the talk.
All right. See you on the air.
Bye.